Welcome to the Panther-Lair.com signing day special. We're joined now by Eastlake North, Ohio offensive lineman Ryan Baer. Ryan, how you doing? Thanks for joining us.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's funny, as I was thinking about it before we started talking, I was like, the first thing I have to ask Ryan about is I feel like every day on Twitter I see another like all conference or all region or all state or all. Do you know off the top of your head the honors you've gotten, like this off season, like off the top of your head? Can you repeat them all?
Oh yeah. So I was conference offensive player of the year, county offensive player of the year. I was first team all Ohio, first team all district. Uh, I was in the top four for this award called the Tony Fisher Award, who is the running back at Notre Dame. He's from Northeast Ohio, so it's pretty much one of the top players in our area. And the only offensive lineman to do that was Ryan Jacoby, who's a lineman at Pitt, which is
Right.
a great honor. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the gist of it.
So you said offensive player of the year, like offensive lineman of the year or offensive player
No, like
overall?
actual offensive player.
I got to think that doesn't happen right? Don't they usually give that to like quarterbacks and running backs? I mean, maybe a receiver. Do linemen get
Yeah,
that award very often?
not that I remember, and even my coach said that might be the first time it's ever happened. So
I mean, like,
yeah,
I'm sure you probably, feel like you can play well and all that. But I mean, are even you kind of impressed that to get an award like that, where it's not even like O lineman of the year or all state or anything like that, but it's offensive player of the year in the conference?
yeah, I was pretty shocked because our conference, the Western Reserve, has some pretty good teams. It's had like four state championships in the last 5 years since I've been there. So we have a lot of competition in this conference. So it meant a lot.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you turn the clock all the way back, I think you committed to Pitt in July. I think I know it was over
August.
the summer. Oh, was it August?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Um,
was end of July, right? Or is that what goes into August? If I remember, yeah, end of July, early
okay.
August, something like that.
Trying to get it done before like camp started, that kind of thing. Is that what you're?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So what? I mean, back then, what made you pick Pitt? What kind of led to that decision?
I went on my unofficial, and I just had a great time. I went on a weekday, so I was the only recruit there. So it was like I had all the attention to myself. Um, that could have helped into it, but I was just on my visit. I got to meet all the coaches, and it was just love. It was all family from there. Like I my grandparents are from PA, so I have a background there. That was my first time ever going down there though. Was on my visit, and uh, just meeting with the players. Owen Drexel. I mean, he was honestly one of the top guys like to make me want to go there. He was just an amazing dude, and I got to meet like Carter Warren, Gabe Hoy, all the O line guys who are probably going to be staying this year. That I get 1 year of mentoring from. So those are just dudes I would love to be around for, even if it's just 1 year. And Narduzzi, Borbs, Coach Collins, they're just some of the most genuine people I ever met. So they made me feel welcome, and that's why I wanted to go.
Well, I mean, was Pitt? I mean, obviously you were interested in Pitt to take that visit in June, like you mentioned the unofficial. But like, was Pitt pretty high on your list prior to that visit, or did that really push them up?
To be honest, it was kind of just like I set my four officials or five. Yeah, I sent five officials. I had one unofficial to Ohio State, and then it was just I they kept on nagging me. Just it's almost like doing yourself wrong if you don't even give us a chance and blah blah blah. And I was like, I mean, it's 2 hours away. How bad could it really hurt to take away 2 days? And I ended up going down and loving it. So
Who was like nagging, like Coach Collins or Coach Borbely or?
both Borbs and Collins. I didn't really talk to Narduzzi as much at that time, but I mean, I still heard from him from like text, but definitely Borbs and Coach Collins were on me.
And I feel like you said, that was kind of like in the middle of a bunch of official visits, right? Like, did you take like a few the weekend before, and then one or two after, or something like that?
Yeah, so it would be I took my official to, I believe, Illinois or Michigan State, and it was I got home, got to sleep in my bed, and I woke up early that morning, and went down to Pitt, And I got home from Pitt, got to sleep in my bed one time, then I was down on another visit. So it was a busy summer.
I mean, that's interesting. It was only like a day, but it made that kind of impact, like stood out that much. I mean, did you pretty much know by the time you left Pitt that you were pretty set on that, or did you kind of take that month of July sort of mulling it over and thinking about it for a while?
So I felt like it was the place I wanted to go, like right after the visit. But at that time, I still had two more visits to go to, Notre Dame, and I believe somewhere else. And I sat down with my coach, and he was like, "I mean, after all this with COVID and everything, I feel like you deserve, you owe yourself to just, finishing off and like just go on your visits, give these schools a chance. Like, don't end it early. Like, obviously, Pitt could be in the running, but there's no reason to end it early with all the difficulties we've had in the past of not being able to visit. So just, give yourself what you earned." So I listened to him, and then obviously things happened where I canceled that Notre Dame visit. So that gave me, 1 week early of just being able to sit down and think.
Nice. And then, it's always interesting to me. I mean, guys commit over the summer and then you get a chance to watch that team through the fall. And I'm sure you were hoping the best for them, hope they have a good season and that kind of thing. But as you watch Pitt's season play out, I mean, I know you were at a bunch of games, you watch them on TV. What did you kind of think as that season was going on? It looked like they might be building something.
They won their first game with New Hampshire, or I think that's what it was, right? New Hampshire. That was their first game.
UMass was the first one.
UMass.
Yeah.
I think it's New Hampshire this upcoming year, but
Hmm. Well, they played
yeah.
New Hampshire at
So,
the end of September. They played UMass and then Tennessee, Western Michigan. Then
oh, okay,
New
okay,
Hampshire.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, yeah, I went to UMass and they dominated. The defense looked great. Offense, Kenny Pickett obviously did his thing, and uh, they beat Tennessee, SEC team, so that was pretty cool. Then they went down and lost to Western Michigan, what I think was their, kind of like wake up call. They took them light. I talked to coaches about that. And their record, honestly, this year, it wouldn't have made me change my decision if they would have lost every game. It's just, but they played dominant. I think that was their wake up game. And obviously, with the loss to Miami, I was there. That was still a great game to be at. Like, even though they lost, they still showed a lot of promise. And, I love the way they play. And it's just being at the games. And, people always mock the crowd saying it's not all that. I mean, I didn't really see that much of a problem with the crowd. I thought it was an amazing time down there. So,
And then I'm sure you watched the ACC championship game.
oh yeah,
week and a half ago. What was it like for you watching that? I mean, it was an exciting game. Obviously, the defense took over and all that. But what were you thinking as you were watching that one?
so I was at my cousin's state game, and my dad had it up on his phone. So I was just peeking in every so often to see what was going on, and obviously, Wake Forest's offense was, they were clicking a little bit in the first quarter, and in the first half in general, and that's what good teams do. They adjust to what people are throwing out. So they adjusted well, and obviously the defense started hitting Sam Hartman and got into his head, took over the game.
Mm-hmm. And then you follow that up by taking your official visit. Got to spend a whole weekend at Pitt. Obviously, see a lot more than you saw on the unofficial. What stood out to you during that weekend? I mean, I'm sure you saw some things you hadn't seen before.
No, because my unofficial, I actually did stay down for 2 days on my
Oh,
unofficial.
okay.
Yeah, so I got to see a lot of the same stuff, but it's just to me about continuing to build my relationships with the coaches, getting them, talk to them more as not like a recruit anymore, as an actual commit, as a player who's going to be there. So like just being able to sit down with Coach Borbs, and I mean we were in his room for probably like over an hour, just running up schemes, looking at different fronts, and like even when we were on the bus rides to a place, we were like just drawing up plays, like imaginary plays on the back of seats, and it was nice to be able to go on a visit where it wasn't the pressure of being a recruit and people nagging like, "What do you think? Are you going to come down?" So it was nice to be able to relax and talk with my future coaches.
Yeah. What do you think of Coach Borbley? I mean, like you said, it sounds like you guys just kind of hung out. I mean, how's that relationship, and what do you kind of think of him as a coach?
I love Coach Borbs. He was one that stayed real through the whole recruiting process. Like towards the end, when I was scheduling my officials, a lot of the coaches started to show like a true recruiting side where they're just throwing stuff out there, talking bad about other schools. To be honest, before I committed, I don't know if I ever had a talk with Borbs about like actual like football recruiting.
Hmm.
Like his would be just like, what are you having for dinner? Or, what are you doing? It's just like, how was school? Just like real life talk. So I always had just like a good relationship with Borbs, and I think he's one of the best offensive line coaches in the nation. He is like a true teacher of the game. He understands the game and how it's meant to be played. So I just love the way he teaches.
Did he, I mean, obviously one of the stories in the last week, they change offensive coordinators. As you're watching film with him and that kind of thing, did he say anything about, oh, the offense might change this or that, or no, we're going to keep doing these kind of things? I mean, did he talk about that sort of, what might change or what might not change?
Yeah, we talked about it, and nothing too drastic. At least for the rest of the season with the bowl game going on, we'll see who they pick up as an offensive coordinator. But it sounds like they're going to try to stay the same, except actually keep the ball on the ground more, not like air it out as much. Obviously, losing Kenny Pickett is going to be a big loss. But we're looking at some QBs. Hopefully, we can bring some in. But yeah, they definitely want to run the ball more with the running backs they have.
Mm-hmm. Now, how big are you these days, Ryan?
6'7", like 330.
Okay. And I think, I mean, did you line up mostly at tackle at your school, or did I see some film of you playing guard too?
Freshman year tackle, junior year guard, or sophomore year guard, junior year tackle, then senior year guard. So I flipped every year.
Oh, okay. What does Coach
Yeah.
Borbley see for you at Pitt?
He said he's going to try me at tackle first,
Oh,
left
okay.
tackle first, and then we'll see where we go from there.
You have a preference? You like outside or inside?
I like tackle because I trained like mostly for tackle, but lately I've just been training universal anywhere they need me.
Mm-hmm. And then the last thing, Ryan, I mean, you are enrolling in January. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. What, was that something you had to work toward for a while, or when did you kind of decide you wanted to do that?
Just talking to coaches, through the whole process, not just Pitt. I had that decision set probably before official visits that no matter where I was going, I wanted to get there early because, obviously, I've done great things in my football career, but when you get to college, it's kind of like ground zero. Everybody is you and probably better. So I think I could really use these extra 6 months to get under like a weight program, get eating healthier and conditioning and getting under the playbook. Because like I said, even though I think I'm a pretty good player now, I'm not even close to where I need to be. So
Sure. You mentioned talking to other coaches. I was curious during the fall, like after you committed, did other schools keep trying to like hit you up, like trying to get you off the commitment or flip you away from Pitt?
not like seriously, but like when I made my phone call, like telling them that I committed somewhere, they did say like if you ever like if something does go wrong, like you always have a number with us, or they said like I'm not going to stop recruiting you. Like I still get like texts. Like there's a couple other kids at my school who are getting recruited right now. So like I'll see coaches I've talked to before, and they'll like throw in like a little joke, like anything bad going on. But a lot of my coaches have just kind of like when I committed, I said like I'm committing. So no one's really tried their hardest to try to get me out.
Gotcha. They kind of respected the decision, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Okay, cool. All right, Ryan. Well, thanks so much for taking some time. I appreciate it. Congratulations on everything this season, and had a great senior year. And I guess we'll see you at Pitt when you get there in January.
Yes, sir. Thank you.